the day zero learned to matter. Nothing once meant emptiness, silence, absence, a void nobody bothered to count. Yet this forgotten idea would quietly reshape trade, science, time, and thought. Zero did not arrive with applause, but it rewired reality from the shadows. To understand why zero matters today, we must revisit a dangerous idea. Ancient civilizations counted sheep, stars, and seasons without ever counting nothing. Numbers described objects, not gaps, not absence, not the space between things. For centuries, zero felt unnecessary, even unsettling to early mathematicians. How could nothing deserve a symbol, let alone a place among numbers? But the modern world depends on zero more than any other number. Computers collapse without it, economies freeze, equations lose balance instantly. Every digital signal lives between 1 and 0, presence and absence. What once seemed meaningless now powers every screen, system, and signal. The same hesitation from the past echoes in our present decisions. The story begins not with brilliance, but with resistance and fear. Early number systems worked, so nobody questioned their missing piece. Roman numerals marched confidently forward, never pausing at nothing. Merchants calculated totals, taxes, and debts without acknowledging absence. Mathematics moved forward, but something essential remained invisible. Then subtle problems began appearing, quietly at first. Large calculations became cumbersome, fragile, and prone to human error. Place value struggled without a marker for empty positions. As trade expanded and astronomy deepened, cracks started forming. Something unseen was slowing progress, though nobody named it yet. Far away, another culture dared to ask a forbidden question. What if nothing could be treated as something? What if absence deserved structure, rules, and logic? This simple curiosity would ignite one of history's quiet revolutions, and it would begin with a single, dangerous symbol. The idea did not emerge all at once, nor from a single mind. It formed slowly, shaped by practical needs rather than philosophy. In ancient India, mathematicians faced growing numerical complexity. Trade routes expanded, calendars became precise, astronomy demanded accuracy. Numbers needed flexibility, not just tradition. Instead of ignoring empty spaces, they marked them deliberately. A dot, a pause, a placeholder holding position. At first, it was only a tool, not a number, a way to say something should be here, but is not. Yet that small mark carried enormous potential. With placeholder, numbers suddenly breathed easier. 10 became different from 1. 100 separated itself from 10 without confusion. Calculations that once sprawled across pages became compact. Efficiency quietly replaced struggle. Then something radical happened. That placeholder began following rules. It could be added. It could be subtracted. Nothing was no longer silent. Nothing interacted. This shift unsettled mathematical intuition. How could absence participate in arithmetic? How could nothing change something? Yet the results were undeniable. Equations simplified. Patterns emerged. Errors decreased. As scholars refined these ideas, zero gained identity. It was no longer just an empty seat. It became a boundary, a divider between positive and negative, a reference point anchoring entire number systems. But acceptance was far from universal. When the idea traveled west, it met suspicion. European scholars labeled it dangerous. Merchants feared fraud. Religious authorities distrusted its abstract nature. Some cities even banned its use. A symbol too powerful, too flexible, too easy to manipulate. Numbers without physical meaning felt like deception. After all, how do you prove nothing exists? Yet commerce told a different story. Accounts balanced faster. Interest calculations became reliable. Large sums behaved predictably. Zero made complexity manageable. Resistance softened, then faded. Practical success overpowered philosophical discomfort. Once merchants adopted zero, scholars followed. Once scholars followed, science accelerated. But the real transformation had only begun. Zero did not merely improve math. It rewired how humans thought about absence itself. And that quiet shift would soon collide with an even deeper problem. Once zero was accepted, a strange tension surfaced beneath mathematics. The number line suddenly had a center, a silent axis. Positive numbers marched forward with confidence. Negative numbers stretched backward into unfamiliar territory. Zero stood between them, calm, unmoving, unsettling. This balance introduced power, but also danger. Division by zero produced nonsense. Equations collapsed into infinity or undefined chaos. Zero obeyed rules, except when refused to. It behaved logically until it didn't. Mathematicians realized zero was not passive. It was a gatekeeper. Cross it incorrectly and certainty vanished. Respect it and systems aligned beautifully. Zero demanded precision like no number before it. Science soon felt the impact. Physics required reference points. Motion needed rest. Temperature needed a baseline. Zero became the anchor of measurement itself. But the conflict deepened with infinity. If zero represented nothing, infinity represented everything. They mirrored each other in unsettling ways. Zero times infinity broke intuition. Limits approached zero, yet never touched it. Calculus emerged from this tension. Tiny changes approaching nothing revealed massive truths. Motion, growth, and decay suddenly made sense. The universe became readable through near-nothingness. Zero unlocked change itself. Yet, emotionally, humans struggled. Nothing still felt wrong. A number without substance. A concept without weight. Trusting it required faith in abstraction. Even today, zero triggers paradoxes. Zero-based indexing confuses beginners. Zero error halts systems instantly. One missing zero collapses bridges, rockets, economies. Absence proves more dangerous than presence. This is the deeper conflict zero introduced. It gave power but removed safety. Math became precise but unforgiving. One mistake no longer rounded away. Zero exposed errors mercilessly. And still, we kept building upon it. Digital logic chose zero as foundation. On and off, yes and no, existence and absence. Modern civilization rests on this fragile idea, a symbol representing nothing. Handled perfectly, it creates everything. Handled carelessly, it destroys certainty. The tension was never resolved. Instead, humanity learned to live inside it, balancing presence and absence, meaning and emptiness, all hinging on a single silent point. And at that edge, where nothing meets everything, the true impact of zero finally revealed itself. The climax of Zero's story is not dramatic. There was no single discovery, no final equation. The breakthrough was quieter than that. Humanity accepted that nothing could shape everything. Once that happened, progress accelerated uncontrollably. Binary code reduced reality to 0 and 1. Every image, sound, and message became structured absence. Computers began thinking in gaps. Civilization followed. Zero redefined failure and success. Profit and loss centered around it. Temperatures froze at it. Elevation rose and fell from it. Zero became the point from which meaning spread outward. But it also revealed a hard truth. Complex systems are fragile. One missing zero changes a dosage. One extra zero inflates a budget. One misplaced zero erases years of work. Nothing mishandled carries enormous weight. This is why zero still matters today. Our world is faster, denser, and more abstract. We live inside systems built on absence, digital markets, virtual identities, automated decisions. Zero taught us precision. It removed excuses. It punished carelessness. It rewarded clarity. It forced humanity to think structurally, not intuitively. And perhaps that is its greatest lesson. Progress does not come from adding more. Sometimes it comes from defining what is missing, from acknowledging gaps, from respecting nothing. What began as an uncomfortable idea became the quiet foundation of modern thought. Zero is not empty. It is potential. It is balance. It is the pause that gives structure to everything else. The next time you see a zero, remember what it represents. Not absence, but possibility waiting to be shaped. Subscribe to join the journey. The day